Hello everyone, I am CZ. Today, we are talking about how to configure CIMCO MDC System. This video will be a guide for MDC-Max basic setup. We got a catalog here, and we'll have 15 topics for this training video. 1. Introduction of MDC-Max. 2. Install and see-based database server. 3. Install and configure the DNC-Max server. 4. Data collection using MOXA Nport 5110. 5. Create an operator screen for testing messages. 6. Create a timeline and live screen. 7. Data collection using MOXA ioLogik 1210. 8. Data collection using FANUC FOCAS. 9. Associate data with job and program number. 10. Downtime reasons and state. 11. Web client. 12. MDC Events Log. 13. Connection using MOXA Nport 5110. 14. Connection using MOXA ioLogik 1210. 15. Plan the demo. First topic is introduction of MDC-Max. There are 3 parts for this topic. 1.1. Components of MDC-Max. 1.2. Naming. 1.3. Before we begin, software installation. CIMCO MDC-Max is a software product that enables companies to monitor their machine tools in real time. It does this by generating messages each time an event occurs, such as the machine starting or stopping, and stores these messages in its database. The MDC-Max client is then used to generate real-time status screens and historical reports of machine activity from this database. The goal of this guide is to provide you with a working level of information required to install and configure the components of the MDC-Max system and get an understanding of how they work together. You will learn how to configure machine connections, collect messages from machines and display the collected data in both a timeline and a live screen in the MDC-Max client. Once you have installations established, your knowledge will expand rapidly and many of the features described in this guide will become second nature to you. Until then, you can use this guide as a reference to help you answer many common configuration questions. There are some components of MDC-Max, you can see them in the diagram. First of all, MDC-Max is not a standalone product. It is a client application that works on top of the DNC-Max server, which again works on the CIMCO database server. The MDC-Max client is used to configure the MDC system and to display timelines, live screens, operator screens, reports and so forth. The actual configuration is not stored in the client itself, but on the DNC-Max server or database. The MDC-Max web client is a browser-based client that can display dashboards, live screens, operator screens and shop floor screens. The web client works on any device that has a browser available, such as tablets, phones, PCs and TVs. The web client, however, cannot be used to configure the MDC system. The DNC-Max server is the core component of the MDC system. It handles communication with machine tools and is the central data collection source for all MDC messages. The DNC-Max server also takes care of processing the message data it receives and calculates timers, states, and so forth. The server must be running at all times and you cannot run any of the clients without it. Whenever a string of text or line changes detected by the DNC-Max server on any of its ports, it converts these to an MDC message. For example, when using a serial connection, the CTS high signal could be converted to a cycle start message to indicate that the machine is in cycle running. When the CTS line goes low, this could be converted to a cycle stop message. The DNC-Max server is linked to the CIMCO database server. That way, all messages, configurations, etc. are automatically stored in a defined database on the CIMCO database. Storage of messages is, of course, essential, since otherwise the DNC-Max server and the MDC-Max client would not have any historic data to work with. In the diagram, you will also notice the DNC-Max client. This is used to configure the machine ports on the DNC-Max server and to configure how each port converts the signal data it receives into MDC messages. The DNC-Max client is also very useful in regards to viewing both server and port logs, which is essential when configuring, testing, and troubleshooting the MDC system. For customers, understanding the relationship between the MDC-Max client, DNC-Max server, and CIMCO database server can be overwhelming. To keep it simple, our MDC solution is simply referred to as MDC-Max and presented as if it was one product. In our marketing material, the DNC-Max server and CIMCO database server are sometimes also referred to as the MDC-Max server and MDC-Max database. Again, this is only to make it less confusing and to present it as a single solution. Although the server is called DNC-Max server, it is not limited to working with the DNC-Max client. Think of the DNC-Max server as a multi-purpose server that works at the core of CIMCO's MDC and DNC systems. You might also notice that the file names associated with some of the software does not match the software name, such as the file name for the CIMCO database server, which is called DNC-Base.exe and located in the /NC-Base/ folder, or the DNC-Max client, which is called DNC-Admin.exe. These files have simply retained their original names while the software itself has evolved heavily. For this guide, we assume you have already downloaded the latest version of CIMCO software from www.cimco.com web link and installed the following applications as a minimum: MDC-Max Client, DNC-Max Client, DNC-Max Server, Database Server. For this guide, application files should be installed to the directory c://cimco/ and you should be running version 8 or later. Expect both the download and installation to take some time.